Hello and welcome to another video tutorial on SASHIMI. This tutorial is going to cover SASHIMI version 7.5, and because there's not a lot of changes to 7.5, a lot of these changes are kind of under the hood, I'm going to take a few minutes and also look at the new version of Makisu, which is Makisu version 1.5, and show you how to use that in conjunction with SASHIMI. So let's go ahead and start off using Makisu. And in Makisu 1.5, the big difference is we support a lot more of the email and wireless options that Microsoft makes available through the use of CSP provisioning files. So let's go ahead and configure a POP mail account, which is what most people will probably be using. And of course, I'm just making up information here. You would use the information provided by your ISP or your company. Any password you put in here will show clear text in the XML file, so I urge you in practice probably not to actually place the password in the file, but to enter it manually later on. And we see now the additional configuration options that the new version of Makisu gives us. It allows us to set all the advanced email settings, which I'll go ahead and do. Say check for mail every 10 minutes, plain text format, download all messages, the entire message. And then we'll add it to the XML processing batch. And we'll go to XML operations and create the XML file. I'll go ahead and place that XML file in SASHIMI's auto XML directory so that SASHIMI can go ahead and provision that when SASHIMI runs. So that's it. That's just a quick peek at some of the new options in the new Makisu version 1.5. Let's go ahead and take a look at the new structure of SASHIMI. One of the biggest differences under the hood is how the SASHIMI program folder is set up. If we go inside, you'll see that there's only 4 directories now. The auto and the manual directories, which are the 2 main directories to store all your data. The backups directory, where reg backups get created. And then I placed everything else underneath the program directory to help with the clutter. I also broke out all the ini files and put them in their own directory. And I put all the sample files in with the help. So all the sample ini files are in with the help, all the ini files are in with ini, and in the bin file only the executable files remain. So that's the new file structure. Let me show you, we're going to do an auto install in SASHIMI. Let's go in and just take a look at the auto cab. And you'll see one of the cabs I have here for the Citrix setup, the ICA setup, has an associated auto file with it. That's why you see those 2 ICA setup files. One's the cab and one's the auto file. And the auto file's been enhanced a little bit to allow for a little more configuration, including install to the storage card. The reason I'm using an auto file is because this Citrix setup file requires some manual intervention, and the auto file will automate that. So you'll see that during the auto install process. So let's go ahead and do a run of SASHIMI. I'm going to go ahead and run the auto install. Okay, now here's the auto resume feature. I actually started a SASHIMI session previously that got interrupted, so it's asking me if I want to resume or start a new one. I'm going to go ahead and start a new one, and then I'll show you this feature again by interrupting halfway through. So we're going to start a new session. I'm also using the custom links ini file to place shortcuts in particular directories. So you'll see this pre-scanning file system is what happens when your custom links file is going to operate on a cab file. It needs to scan the file system first. So here we see this is being fully automated. there's a Citrix license agreement that pops up, and that's going to automatically be responded to. That's all done from within the optional auto file that I'm running in tandem with that cab. So we're going to let the Citrix finish installing maybe one more cab file. I'm then going to interrupt the process, and you'll see what happens when we attempt to resume. Alright, it's modifying the shortcuts, placing the ICA setup in the directory that I specified in my custom links. Okay, we'll let the RAR file finish installing here and modifying the shortcuts, and then we'll go ahead and interrupt on the next one. Okay, I'm going to cancel. And cancel just aborts SASHIMI completely. I'm going to go ahead and start SASHIMI back up. Run another autophase. Again, it will detect that we were interrupted, and it's going to ask me what I want to do. I'm going to say yes this time to resume the session, and the first thing you'll see real quickly is the cabs that have already been installed are going to be skipped. Okay, it went very quickly. You might not have even seen it, but you'll see it starts back up here at the regedit, which is where I canceled prior. So we've got a few more cabs which we'll let install. One of the cabs that it's going to install coming up in a minute here is the Google Maps cab. And one of the things that's interesting about the Google Maps is Google Maps is going to open up some additional windows, like a license agreement. Now, those don't need to be responded to in order to successfully... I must have removed the Google Maps from my installation, so we're not going to see it in this one. But as I was saying, the Google Maps or other cabs which bring up a dialog box don't necessarily need to be responded to. SASHIMI will continue to operate with those in the background, and you can take care of those after SASHIMI is done or simply by resetting your device. So SASHIMI is done. I'm going to go ahead and exit, and now I'm just going to pull up my programs group, and you can see some of my shortcuts that got moved around. See, my ICA connections got created under here, Bengali's connections. Regedit got placed under my registry tools. Kevtris got placed underneath my games. And then RAR should be underneath my file tools. So that just shows you some of the power that SASHIMI has to automatically place your shortcuts under subfolders that you wish to use. So that's about it for the new features of SASHIMI. There's a couple other things underneath the hood in terms of optimizations. One last thing we want to check is our messaging. There is the POP account that we set up. And if we go into the options of that account, we can see some of the things I set up, like the send receive schedule every 10 minutes, download all messages, plain text, entire message. So that was the XML that I created with Makisu that got provisioned during the SASHIMI auto install. We see it automatically set up our POP email account. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the new versions of the programs. Thanks for watching.